Hi, I'm Dave Feldman, Supplier Diversity Manager at Chevron. My company and our peers in the oil and gas industry are members of the PEIG, the Petrochemical and Energy Industry Group, which includes BP, Chevron, ConocoPhillips, Dresser-Rand, EQT, ExxonMobil, Fluor, and Shell, is an NMSDC-sponsored team that collectively addresses issues that provides opportunities for minority-owned companies to work in our industry. We are all committed to an inclusive supply chain, one that reflects the amazing diversity of our communities. We partner with the NMSDC to identify and develop minority-owned companies with the interest and capacity to do business in our industry. The PEIG believes that by working with the NMSDC, its corporate and MBE members, we can make a real and positive difference for our companies and our communities.
Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the stage National Interim President of NMSDC, Mr. Louis Green.
Thank you. Thank you, Detroit. Another great day. That's right, some excitement. You hear Motown music, good food. You got the best corporations and MBEs in the world all in the same room. Lots of great sessions today. It's a great reason to be excited. I just want to again thank everyone for being here. Want to thank our sponsor for today, for our luncheon, Capital One, for our signature session sponsors, Intel Corporation and Allstate, and as you heard me say each and every day, and you'll continue to hear me say, our event sponsors, Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, Ford, General Motors. See, they got their own love going on over there. General Motors, Toyota, ACRO, Amcus, and Kyyba. And our innovation sponsor, MetLife, and our platinum sponsor, Kelly. Please give them all a round of applause. So somebody on my staff said, don't say anything about this. But you know what? We had so many people coming out, we had to set extra tables. So if you got a little slow in getting you seated, we had extra turnout. So appreciate you being patient with us. We're glad you're excited about the content. That's why we're putting it out here, and you have some great people you're going to hear from on the panel today, along with a powerful moderator. So, it is now my pleasure to introduce the remarkable woman who will be your MC for this luncheon. She's an entrepreneur, an educator, ambassador, businesswoman, author, and mentor. Janice, I'm glad it wasn't too many more things. I was going to run out of breath. She's the founder and chief executive officer of the Act One Group, and the largest privately held, woman-owned workforce solutions company founded in the United States. The kind of success story that NMSDC is all about. If you watch the screen, you're going to see a video about this amazing woman, and then you will see her in person. So then take your time, but after that, give a warm welcome to Janice, Bryant, Howroyd. Thank you.
Special guest speaker today, the first African-American woman to own a billion-dollar company.
She started the company in 1976 with just a few $100s. She's now ranked by Forbes as the second wealthiest self-made African-American woman in America, behind only Ms. Oprah Winfrey.
Act One is one of the largest staffing companies in the United States.
She's also the first African-American ever named by the Star Group as one of the 50 leading women entrepreneurs in the world.
Janice and I were recently both honored at the BET Honors Awards, and she is a true inspiration.
She spent almost 40 years helping others find work. She could fill a book with her words of wisdom. Do you feel like the climate has changed for women, and especially for minority women?
Let's be clear, the climate has changed, but it's not sunny weather. This journey is not one that I consider having reached success. Rather, I believe I'm on the road of success. awesome is this? How awesome is this? You know, when we have an NMSDC event, it's not simply an event of networking, nor is it an event of procurement. It's a homecoming, huh? And I've had homecoming with so many of you already. It is an honor, more importantly, because I'm a child of God, it is a blessing to be standing on this stage today. We're at the midpoint of the conference. I learned after a session this morning that I would be your host for today, so roll with me. But you know, at NMSDC, suppliers in the house, that's what we do, right? We step up. We've been stepping up for a lot of years. You're probably filled with a lot of information already, and I want you to just sit back a little bit right now, relax and settle in for what I think is a very interesting program. We have a lot of people, as Lewis mentioned, who need to be thanked for this conference, and I think we should start with just calling it out one by one, right? There are two rules that I learned in my home. One is everything begins with prayer, and the second is prayer without works is dead. Well, Capital One worked it, and we really have to thank them for sponsoring today's luncheon. Now, we did not have anyone come up here and officiate that we could begin our meals, and we honor all cultures. It's my belief that no matter who you call God every day. So since I was invited to host on short notice, on even shorter notice, I'm just going to say, there's been a lot going on in the world in front of this conference. I know I have team members in my company who are in Puerto Rico. Some got here and some could not. But our own continental United States is experiencing a lot. So rather than invite you into my faith place, let me just ask that we all give that one silent moment of appreciation for all of the people across the universe who are experiencing difficult times. I'm not talking about politically, y'all. Although if you're so inclined, pray for that too. But in a moment, in a very quick moment of our time, where so many of us in here are enjoying levels of prosperity, let us just close our eyes for a second and acknowledge wellness for all of our world citizens. Before the voice of God gets me, I've said a moment, so I better keep going, okay? We have a record number of conference co-chairs this year. Yeah, yay. Let's thank them all. I'm going to read them. Our corporate co-chairs are, first, Chrysler Automobiles, yay. Ford Motor Company, yay. Y'all not feeling it, huh? Okay, let's see how you do for General Motors. Big Red Toyota. So y'all showing corporate love. Everybody better show love for these MBE co-chairs. Everybody. ACRO Service Corporation. One of my own dear friends and supplier, AMPUS. And Kyyba. Okay, pulling up the end of this road. You know I'm so full of Motown right now. I just wanted to come up here and dance. Okay, it's Intel Corporation. They sponsored our signature session. Let me give them their props. Intel has sponsored our signature session, How Small Business Can Leverage Technology to Act Big. You notice they got that act in there? All right, now acknowledge. And let's also acknowledge Allstate Corporation, their sponsorship to the signature session, Protecting Your Business Enterprise. So all y'all grew up on Kellogg, right? Let's thank Kellogg Companies for sponsoring this morning's networking breakfast. Still reading. I'm not falling asleep. My eyes are pointed at a monitor. Yesterday was really big, and the business opportunity exchange was huge for a lot of us. I know you were exhausted by the end of the day, and also you were likely jazzed by the people you met and the opportunities you discovered. We had a wonderful reception last night. Did you enjoy the reception? Simply put, it reminded us that the great community we have through NMSDC is one that we can be thankful for. So in this spirit of continuous gratitude, let's thank 3 co-sponsors. Hey, that's all right with me. I'm from North Carolina. We live in the Trinity. Johnson & Johnson, Rush Group, and Shell Oil Company. Hey, Andra. Andra and I shared a panel with Carmen Castillo today. Hey, Andra. To begin today's program, I'm introducing you to one of our conference MBE co-chairs, ACRO. Watch the video.
Companies in today's global business environment are competing fiercely for the talent they need to achieve their most important goals. Because of this, connecting with the right talent at the right time is ever more important. Our goal at ACRO is built on this purpose, to help companies find better quality talent and realize a better way to manage their workforce. ACRO is the nation's leading diversity workforce solutions company, serving organizations throughout North and South America, Europe, and Asia.
What started in 1982 as a solo businessman endeavor has expanded into a thriving company. We now have more than 5,000 associates globally.
At ACRO, we know that diverse businesses are the future of business.
As our consumer marketplace becomes more and more diverse, it is imperative that businesses represent the face of our society. I'm proud to be a diverse business owner because we are shaping the future of business.
Supplier diversity is not only the right thing to do, but it's the smart thing to do.
ACRO is our primary diversity initiative at BAE. We partner together to manage over 100 diversity suppliers.
Diverse suppliers give us the opportunity to bring something quick to market. They have the ability to be very flexible, and that's exactly what we need in the type of global market that we're working in.
Not only is ACRO a diverse supplier themselves, but they're really good at sourcing diverse staffing suppliers.
As the leader of a minority business and a Corporate Plus member of the NMSDC, ACRO has a comprehensive program to engage MBEs as suppliers to support us, thus expanding the reach and impact of our work.
Being woman-owned minority business, having a mentor is very incredible help. Every time we need somebody, they're a phone call away. I'm really grateful to having ACRO.
I think ACRO is a great mentor. They formed their team around me when we first started as partners. They all made me what I am. I am really proud to have my clients use diversity as a business strategy.
After all, this is how we all succeed. This is how we all thrive. Together, we are all stronger.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Janice. And welcome. I'm so very honored to be here today. As I look around the room, and I've been part of this event for the last 2 days, I'm truly inspired. It's remarkable to see so many of us are so passionate about diversity in business and propelling the success of minority-owned businesses. I started ACRO Service Corporation in 1982 in the basement of a law office. I had arrived in the United States a few years earlier with just enough money for my first semester for the MBA program. I was motivated by the idea of the American dream that no matter who you are or where you come from, if you work hard, you could succeed. After graduation, I took a job with Ford Motor Company as a financial analyst. While I was there, I got inspired. I became inspired to be a part in shaping the future of business. I saw an opportunity for providing outsourced workforce solutions that can help companies save time and money. I left Ford and started ACRO Service Corporation. At the time, many friends and family wondered why I would leave a secure job like Ford's. I invested all my savings, took out a loan, and took a giant leap of faith. At that time, there weren't too many resources available for minority businesses. So I started with nothing more than my grit and determination. Today, ACRO has 40 offices around the world and over 5,000 employees. Thank you. And despite the challenges and hurdles that we've faced, the journey to get here has been a dream in action. Why? Because I know what all of you know, that to bring innovation, that with innovation and a passionate vision for shaping the future is one of the most important things we can do as business people and as citizens. But bringing innovation to the world is not easy. It requires that we foster diversity of thought and approach. It's the ideas of all of us, no matter where we come from, that advances our society and makes it better.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, y'all stop laughing. You know, some of y'all have had the opportunity to visit the Apollo Theater, and back in the day, you know, you get the hook. That was nice. I said that nicely. And I also had to say it because we're so excited about Estrella Kramer, who's Supplier Director, so Diversity Director for UPS. She's got some really exciting news for us. Is Estrella in the house? Come on, Estrella. Welcome, Estrella. Okay, Estrella, don't get the hook.
I will not. Good afternoon, everyone. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is, no, I always just wanted to say that. Sorry. But I am here, I'm the Supply Diversity Director for UPS, and I would like to share the very exciting news. Through the generosity of our UPS Foundation, we received a grant in 2017 to be able to provide compelling webinars, a special program to assist MBEs, women of color businesses, with focus on the access to capital. So we will be partnering with NMSDC, and please, we will be bringing out more information. We encourage everyone to take advantage of that. And as Oprah can say, you get a car, you get a car, we say you get a grant and you get a grant, because I'm so excited to tell you that just recently we got another approval to continue with the program. We received another grant from the UPS Foundation for 2018. So we can continue to have that program for access to capital. And so please do take advantage of the program. And in closing, see, I'm not gonna get the hook. In closing, I'm gonna borrow some words, and some of you may recognize the song, but I really we want to give kudos to all the diverse suppliers, MBEs, women-owned, LGBT-owned, veteran-owned, disadvantaged businesses, small businesses, but I always believe that you have all the tenacity. My hat's off to you. We really feel great about what you do, and I know that diverse suppliers, you don't sleep. You rest with one eye up. I know that. So thank you, everyone.
All over the world, as each new day dawns, people rise and they go to work. Some people work in factories, others in offices. There are those who work on the road and those who work from home. Each has their own role to play in our economy, our progress, as companies, as industries, as people. They grow our food, ship our freight, search for scientific breakthroughs and the understanding that leads to them. They balance our books, answer our calls, and teach our children. And they build, they create, they invent, they propel. And then there's us, the ones who connect those people to their world of work, connect them to their dreams, to the income that pays for their homes, their health care, the education of their children, their vacations. And we connect them to others. It's a community after all, and we're all in it together, united by our passion to connect talent to the world of work, to innovate our strategies and approaches so we can more effectively help people, lift them, and support them in reaching their greatest potential. Because we know that empowering others strengthens us all.
Yay, yay, yay! I'm really excited about this next introduction I'm making. Now, how many of you, I don't remember the artist's name because I'm at that certain age, although I'm the most magnificently mature millennial you will ever meet. I am at that age where sometimes I blur names, but how many of you know that song, the guy goes, I'm Thiru, Thiru? Don't act like it. Thank you for acknowledging. Thank you. Who's the artist, Tiny? Who did she say? Bobby Womack. Y'all never heard of Bobby? I guess because he wasn't from Motown, huh? Okay, I'm excited about this introduction because Thiru happens to be, Thiru happens to be an MBE co-chair, and his organization, Kyyba, are strongly stepping up. Please help me welcome him to the stage. And he also knows he's got 2 minutes.
Thank you, Janice. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be here. I'm very happy and excited to be the co-chair for this conference. My name is Thiru Ganesan. I'm the president and CEO of Kyyba. A lot of people ask me, how do I become an entrepreneur? I said I was looking for a job. Nobody wants to hire me. Then I have to start my own. So, jokes apart, I worked for a large corporation for 10 years, held different positions within IT. Then I started my own. Ever since, it's a great journey. I've learned a lot. I always give 200% commitment. I'm very passionate in what I do. I'm a very metrics-driven guy. What does Kyyba do? Kyyba is a technology solution and staffing services throughout globally. We have operations in 30 states in the US, Mexico, Canada, and India. We have won a lot of awards. M&A is acquisition is one of our growth strategy. So we acquired several companies in the past and also won several awards along the way. So today, Kyyba In the last 20 years, Kyyba have grown multiple folds in terms of revenue, customer base, number of offices, and number of employees. And I really want to thank all our customers who really supported us along our way, and our employees, my bright and brightest employees who are sitting out there, who stood behind me and made my vision to a reality. And I also want to thank Louis and the entire NMSDC staff who supported us. And I also want to thank Michelle Suri Robinson and the local council members, and really stood by us and supported us all along in the year. So I really want to specifically thank Reggie, Angela, and Loti for their outstanding contribution for the local council and the local MBEs. Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of the conference. Kyyba is a global engineering and IT staffing firm providing services throughout the US. So when we started our company, I found out about NMSDC network, and I reached out to the local MMSDC chapter. They helped us get it certified, and ever since that, it's been a great partnership for us. We use their network. They have close to 2,000 corporate members. We started with FCA as a small supplier. Now we are one of the top minority supplier.
Kyyba is an important customer for us because A, it is a diverse supplier itself, but it also provides us a collection of diverse employees in different skill teams. We worked with Kyyba over the years to provide us different staffing solutions, and they've done a wonderful job.
We invited Kyyba into our program this year in the beginning of 2017 after many years of developing a partnership and relationship with them. Kyyba has a very strong and dedicated model specific to MSP. We are aware of their successes at other automotive OEMs, and we certainly look forward to a strong partnership with them moving forward.
I would urge all MBEs to be actively engaged with NMSDC and the local chapter. Go to their local conferences, national conferences, and network, and you can potentially increase your growth.
Okay, so now I'm in my real job, right? The opportunity I was invited to today is to host a Fireside chat, and I'm very excited about it. Now, when some of you learned that the Fireside chat would include George from Kelly Services, you were like, oh, I'm going to be there and see what happens there, right? Well, what's going to happen here today is what's happened throughout my knowledge of this fine organization. Here are the people who are going to be a part of this Fireside chat. And to get you in the mood for it, I want you to understand that what we're discussing is transformational change in leadership. Who better than to have present with us than first George Corona, President and CEO of Kelly Services. George was named President and Chief Executive Officer of Kelly Services, and he currently is overcoming all types of issues in the workforce environment by providing workforce solutions through his brilliant team. Many of them I know very personally, and some of them are in the room today. Please stand and be acknowledged, Kelly Services. George has served as U.S. middle market leader, where he helped launch Kelly Services educational staffing, and then has led Kelly continuously to transform and adapt into today's highly competitive marketplace. Prior to joining Kelly, Mr. Corona held management roles at Digital Equipment Professional Services Group and Burroughs Corporation. He has a master's degree in business administration from Oakland University, and his bachelor's was achieved in business administration from Wayne State University. Please welcome George to the stage.
Thank you.
The heat doesn't end there, though. We've also got Angelo Vitale, who is Executive Vice President, General Counsel, and Corporate Secretary for Quicken Loans. He's the Executive Vice President over an organization where he manages complex litigation, regulatory actions that involve a variety of residential mortgage loan, origination, and services practices. At Quicken Loans, Angelo did develop a specialty practice in the areas of commercial real estate leasing, enterprise risk management, and regulatory compliance. He is a graduate of Wayne State University Law School and of University of Detroit Mercy, where he got his bachelor's. Welcome, please, Angelo. So, we're having a fireside chat.
Yes, we are.
In order to do that, I think it's really important that we know a little bit about your organizations, the way you think it's important, along remembering that we're talking about transformation. Everybody is engaged in some type of transformation. Some of it is by design, and some of it is by response. You want to start out, George, and just share with us what your organization's doing, particularly under this theme.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's really an honor for me to be here with all of you. And so when we think about Kelly Services and we think about transformation, we've been in the world of work for 71 years. And the world of work is going through so much change and so rapidly, more so than it ever has in the last 50 years. And that means that Kelly has to be on the leading edge of that change, and being able to transform ourselves and help to transform our clients in providing them with the very best talent that they can find. And when you think about talent today, talent has a choice, much more than it ever has before. And you have to really be able to connect with the ways that people want to work, connect with them where they want to work, and it's really going to be their choice. And so Kelly is leading the way in making sure that we're providing for that type of environment.
Thank you. I want to remind you guys to please share words of wisdom you enjoy on social media. Utilize the hashtags you think are most appropriate. And do you have a team of people here who want to stand up and be acknowledged?
Yeah, the folks from Quicken Loans and the Rock Holdings companies are back at table
Please
75.
stand up, be acknowledged. And I can't go home if I don't ask the Act One group to stand and be acknowledged. So, can you share with us then, Angelo, where you are in this spirit of transformation and what's happening at Quicken?
Sure, happy to do that. So Janice did talk to George and I before we came out. She said, have some fun. Look like you're having fun. Well, I mean, the whole thing started with Motown music and some pie. I'm already having fun.
That's right.
Things are good. So Quicken Loans, who's heard of this little thing called Rocket Loans? Anybody in the place? A few folks? Yeah, there's a little bit of advertising that goes with that. So I joined the company about 20 years ago. Dan Gilbert founded the company about 32 years ago. And when I got there, we were just another little mortgage hut opening some brick and mortar branch offices in all of the little strip malls. And Dan, in 1998 or so, said, you know, I think this internet thing might be more than a fad. He said, I think we should consider centralizing this and taking this business online. So we had opened up all of these branch offices, and then we promptly started closing them down, and we went all in on the internet. And suffice it to say, that was a transformational moment for us in our business. This little thing called Rocket Loans that I mentioned is the next transformation in our business. Really a digital experience that is, you know, you ought to be able to do all of your business from that little computer that we all have in our pocket called an iPhone. And the world's gone that direction. We want to go there too. And we're already asking ourselves, what's next? Because that Rocket mortgage sounds like a, you know, sort of the Model T. You know, we need to keep on going. And of course, we need a workforce, you know, team members and leaders who believe in transformation, who believe in change, and who are incredibly comfortable with changing, because business is changing all the time and the technology is doing that.
Angelo, you're so right, and being in front of that change oftentimes is a matter of life or death for a business owner. You have in this audience many suppliers who are my friends. You have suppliers of all different scales of business. When we talk about transformation, let's work from a platform of a basic definition of what transformation means to you and how it can impact a business that's not quite the size of Quicken, and what they might think in terms of making sure that they're being transformational.
Sure, that's a great setup for that, Janice, because we were a little tiny company, and as we have grown, not as big as the Ford Motor Company, some of the other big companies represented here today, but we've gone from 300 people when I joined the company to over 17,000 team members. That's pretty rapid growth. That transformation, that change sometimes can create bureaucracy and slow down business. And we often hear smaller companies who say, you know, we can't scale like you. What you can do is change. What you can do is adapt on the fly, because you have to, Janice, to your point. It's adapt or die often, right? We have tried to maintain that philosophy even as our business has grown, but we are absolutely looking for folks who have that fire and that desire to grow and grow with us. And we think that the greater the diversity of our workforce and our supplier force, the greater we can become, because it keeps our perspective fresh.
Good.
We don't get stale.
Yeah, and when you talk about technology being such a driver of transformation, it causes transformation, it also requires transformation.
Yes.
And you spoke about talent being so core to how a company is able to transform. I believe it all begins there. And who better to have talk about this than you? So George, why don't you just share with us not only how Kelly Services is integrating your talent and your technology to drive forward a better workforce platform for yourself, but how's that impacting your clients? Where are you going? Because that's actually your service and your product as well.
Right, so, you know, when you think about transformation, and again, it's all around us. And people think of change, but transformation is really different than change. It's a longer term type of process. And it really, for us, starts with connecting with what our clients need, but also connecting with what our people need. And you hear a lot of talk about companies needing to have a noble purpose, to understand something far beyond just the financials that you have. Why do people come to work every day? And you have to understand that. For us, we have to understand in our clients, why do the people come to work there? What is the purpose that they're there for, so that we can understand how to place for them? But for us, it's very important that we connect with our people to get them excited about servicing our clients. And when you think about the fact that technology is changing all of that for us, the workforce of today, they want to be worked with in very different ways. You know, I think about things like my children. They don't do anything unless it's done on the phone. They almost don't even talk to people anymore.
Right. They text from room to room.
They text from room. They text in the car, so you don't know what they're talking about. But
which they should not do.
That's right.
But they do. So when you start to think about, and I think about Rocket Mortgage, you're transforming the way that people can provide for a house for themselves and to be able to do it easier on their terms. That's what we're starting to do, is transforming the way that we connect with our employees to make sure that they connect with us in the ways that they want to, and using technology to be able to do that. But I think the most important point there is, and I get asked this a lot, does that mean that the human interaction is gone? Particularly in the recruiting area, it's all going to be online. And I have to tell you that there's transformation, but I don't think that we'll ever take the human element out of that. What we will do is use technology to be much more efficient in how we do it, but it is going to be enormously important, and for Kelly to differentiate ourselves on that human touch that we have.
So I think you guys are really hitting some very strong points, some very important points. Because I'm like I am, let's go there though. If I'm a small business in this room, I appreciate you telling me what I need to do. I also want you to tell me how to do it. What are some pointers that really help a business to understand how to embrace transformation, whether that is something overarching between some of our businesses are commodities providers and some are services providers. What are those common things that you've learned and you've grown your businesses from that will be dynamic indicators and pulse points for businesses in this room?
And I think, you know, it really starts from connecting with your people and understanding why they come to work in your company every day. And having them being included in the ideas and the decision-making that you have as a business. And then it goes to the leader to be able to articulate that vision for the people, to understand where you want to take the company, where you want to take your business, and why that's going to be important for them. It really is including everyone in that entire process where you can get the best ideas. I always say, if you have to come to me for the answer, it's probably going to be wrong.
Yeah, so then George, you're more a champion of a culture flow than a culture shift for an organization.
Exactly.
Having that constant infusion of, and this term of diversity, oftentimes it can be off-putting or misunderstood. You're really talking about inclusion.
Exactly. You know, when you think about trying to make a transformational change, diversity is important because you want to have a lot of different ideas and a lot of different views. You know, this whole talk of crowdsourcing talks about that, which is getting ideas from a lot of different areas as you formulate direction. And then inclusion means that everybody's included in debating where you're going, how you're getting there, does it meet with all of their values? And what falls from that is financial performance.
Yeah, I can walk in any market and see a diversity of products. It's what I put in my basket and pay for on the way out the door. That's inclusion.
Yeah, to pick up on a couple of points, George, I agree with that completely. To pick up on a couple of those points, the knowing what motivates your team members, what brings your people there every day, and it's not always or exclusively the product or service that you're delivering. You want them to believe in what it is you're providing to the world, but you really need to know what motivates them. And I mean, in Quicken Loans, as you know, those of you from the Detroit area have been following along, we are actively involved in the city of Detroit. We are attempting to do our part as a good corporate citizen to get actively engaged, and it is a real selling point to attract talent to our organization, to find folks who know and who believe it's bigger than profit. We like to say we're not a for-profit company, we're a for more than profit company.
Yeah.
And feeling like you're doing something bigger than just the work that you do is hugely important. It motivates.
That's so important, Angelo. A lot of the work that I do at universities. And one of the things that I learned between the interaction between my clients and the universities is that many of the younger people today, millennial generation and next, are very motivated by how they feel and how they impact in an organization and what that organization stands for. And you can send them out to interview with awesome companies and they come back very unimpressed regardless of the compensation. They haven't started paying house notes yet, right? They haven't bought cars yet. They have the cars their parents paid for. But the big thing about it is that they look at the organization and no matter what you tell them, they're going to believe more what they see. I'm seated here between two, I don't know, are you white? Are you white? You're at NMSDC, yes. You can say so, okay?
Yes.
And I'm an African-American female of a certain age. We offer inclusion at NMSDC. How do companies make certain that they are offering that inclusive spirit and the truth of inclusion versus some fancy marketing firm who has designed that out there? Because every company today is in the branding business. You've really got to be about it and not just talk about it.
Yeah, we're all in the branding business. You're branding yourself every day as well. But your point is absolutely well taken. You have to put up or shut up. You have to do what you say you do. You can't make hollow promises. You can't give people false impressions about who you are. And so we, at our
and they can check you out on the website.
They can check you out, and they have plenty to say about whether you're real or not. And it gets around the world awful fast. So we're very, very intent on making sure our workforce reflects that, and that reflects our client base. We do business with everyone, and those folks need to feel comfortable that we have
your
that
supply base looks
that's exactly
the way your advertising does.
It certainly should.
Yeah, I think what you have to do is you have to be realistic, and you have to take a look at yourself, and you have to say, are we living what everybody's saying you should live? We do it at Kelly because we say our motto is that we do the right thing, right? And diversity inclusion goes beyond the right thing. It is the right thing to do, and to be able to measure, are you living up to those standards? And you know who will tell you that? The people that work for you will tell you that. And they'll tell you when you're falling short. And what they want to see is that you're genuine about trying to affect the changes that have to be made so that you get through the journey. And we have to be honest that we're still on a long journey here. All of us are.
Janice, you're right. It's not a numbers game. It should not be a check the box thing. It's got to be a real thing. I was, this past weekend, my wife and I were in Alexandria, Virginia for our wedding. Just a quick personal side story. 2 of our 3 children got married 75 days apart this year. So it's been wedding palooza for us, and lots of our friends have been doing that as well. We were just guests at this wedding, but we had some time on Sunday to go to the National Mall, and we had a chance to get over to the Martin Luther King Memorial, which is spectacular. If you haven't been there, you need to go. But as I was there and I was thinking about what we were here to talk about, one of the quotes etched in stone at that monument reads as follows, if I may. Make a career of humanity. Commit yourself to the noble struggle for equal rights. You will make a greater person of yourself, a greater nation of your country, and a finer world to live in.
Wow.
To me, that just says it all about we're all in the people business. This is about a community.
So do we have time for questions from the audience? Where are we in our program now? We can take a question. We have 5 minutes, and we were told that there was someone in the audience, there were some people in the audience who might have questions before we close our session. If you have a question, raise your hand. There she is over there. Can you come forward real quick? We don't want to lose the time to you walking to the stage, so if you have a question, I don't know where the house mics are, but come up and ask your question on the mic real quick. While they're doing that, George, I know that you are working in so many countries, your organization, and that you constantly get a temperature on where companies are really focused in terms of history happening so much quicker. What's the biggest thing that you've had to have embrace and change? And then he's going to ask his question in this last year.
In this last year, I think the biggest thing is as companies are looking at the change, they're starting to see that the traditional ways of working aren't working anymore. They see this whole gig economy, and they're really worried about how are they going to connect into that? How are they going to be able to connect to get to the future of work? And they're really looking for companies like Kelly to be able to provide them with that roadmap of how do you get to that ideal of how people want to work. And the thing, what we talk about at Kelly is 2% of the workforce works as what you would call temporary or contract workers. 30% of the workforce works in all different ways, not as full-time employees.
And many of them are working not one way, but 2 or 3 ways. Okay, please, ask your question quickly. Name, company, serial number, and no...
Glad to give you the definitive details. My name is Ronald Williams. I represent a company called RCI, also Williams Partners, and also another company that's a logistics concern.
And your question is?
Okay. Walker SCM. My question is this. They say what you don't measure, you cannot really truly control. And as you are looking at transformation, okay, what are the key elements of being able to assess how effective you are at passing along the information to your partners, your stakeholders, And also, more importantly, where have you had the most success, and also where are the biggest challenges?
Okay, so he got 3 questions in. You want to hit one of them? Thank you.
I hate to dispel sort of the first part of that comment, but I don't believe, and certainly when you're trying to measure transformation in people, that it necessarily lends itself to metrics. You cannot have a spreadsheet mentality, right?
It's iterative.
Not everything you can count counts, right? But the key is to be, as George alluded to earlier, be close to your folks. Find out what makes them tick. Ask them what motivates them and what demotivates them. That information, if you take it and do something with it, start to build leadership development programs, really address the needs of your workforce, you are going to see improvements in productivity, in talent retention. Those are your metrics, but they're kind of far downstream. The problem sometimes in business, it's often hard to say, well, should we really commit this money or these resources to these soft skills of leadership development and training? And the answer I would give back, and certainly on behalf of my company, is that that is an investment that you absolutely have to make, or you're not going to be around much longer.
And many of our small companies in here, thank you, Angelo. Many of our small companies in here are actually learning transformation and metricing by partnerships with companies who already have that expertise. Is there 30 seconds you want to add before I invite you guys to do your Motown dance you promised to do?
You're not going to want to see that, I can tell you that.
You're not making. There goes everybody.
I will go back, you always want to measure how you're doing against the benchmark. But to me, we just went through a management change at our company. And what I saw that was most effective was some of the people that I put in charge. What they decided to do was go out and talk to the people. And they went out and they conducted many town halls and they asked, what's working? What isn't working? What do we need to change? Why do you come here every day? They came back in my office and looked like they maybe had seen a ghost because we hadn't been asking those questions enough. Right. And now it's beginning to filter into how do we transform our company? How do we change our company to be able to meet the needs that they told us? And what it was really good for us to understand is we had really maybe stopped listening. The most important thing to do is to listen.
Amen.
Yes.
And you know what? I'm glad you guys were here to listen with us today. I am getting that rope pull myself. And so what I want to do is make sure that even with this very spirited, very, I think, illustrative conversation with George and Angelo, that we remember to thank again today's luncheon sponsor, Capital One. Can we thank them again? I also want to make sure that we thank American Gaming Association for today's breakfast again. You got to be thankful for your food.
Yes, you do.
And again, a big thank you to Kellogg's for sponsorship of tomorrow's breakfast. You want to eat tomorrow, you better.
Better clap.
Most importantly, let me thank each of you for being here. Not just being here, but being here. Remember to be here in presence. And I'm going to just share my personal mantra with you as you walk out the door. I do believe that it's been very important in steering my life so that I remember over 25 years ago when I first joined NMSDC, standing outside of doors and having a man named Ray Jensen from Ford Motor Company introduced to me by Harriet Michelle. And Harriet said, get your ASS over there and talk to them. And many years later, I'm here, and it's because of something I truly believe in, and I invite you to share it in your own lives. No matter who you call God every day, shut up and listen, and never compromise who you are personally to become who you wish to be professionally. Stay tuned for more from NMSDC. Enjoy the rest of the conference, and because they invited me and didn't pay me, I can also say thank you and God bless you.
There you go.